Oh, good morning, Facebook friends. Today is Mindful Monday. And Mindful Monday is all about what we do to take care of what we call manomaya kosha, our, our mental body. And I'm hoping this connection is okay because my picture keeps kind of blipping in and out like a strobe light, but hopefully it's okay on your end. Um, I'm going to put some connections over here in the stream. I have some meditations recorded, and I'd like to recommend those to you, offer those to you on my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Ruby's YogaMotion YouTube, and there's some lovely guided meditations on there. So I'm not sure why I'm getting all this funny. Okay, someone's on. So whoever's here, I can't see who's here yet, but I do see someone's watching. If you could just let me know if you're getting the strobe light effect too. Kind of a funny thing. But anyways, welcome, Meditation Monday. This is my series for empowered aging. And someone asked me today, what the heck is empowered aging? So I'll explain it again. So to me, empowered aging is all about taking care of ourselves throughout our life. And that way, throughout our life, we are setting ourselves up for healthier expansion of our, or what we call the health span of our life. So there's the lifespan and then there's a health span. And so in the study of aging, of healthy aging, we want to look at that. And so we found in our, hi Melanie, what we found in our own society is people are living longer. We have longer lifespans, but a lot of people are living longer in ill health. That's called morbidity. And so what we want to do is we want to compress that time of ill health and have a healthy life, right? Until we part from this world. And so that's called our health span. So in order to have a longer health span, we need to take care of ourselves all the decades of our lives. We often think of aging as something that's for people over maybe the age of 50, but we're aging from the time we're born. So, we really set our foundation for a healthy constitution in those early days, how we're fed, how we're treated, we're setting ourselves up. And then as we go through each decade, how are we taking care of ourselves? So that's the basic needs of life, which is eating well, sleeping deeply, exercising regularly, and having a good social connection. So right now, during this time of social separation, it's really challenging, and I'm hoping that you're all getting connected with people enough to feel the love and feel the support that you need in order to live well through this time of this isolation. So we're starting to come out here in Bozeman. We're starting with our first phase. And we'll just see how that feels. For me at YogaMotion, I'm going to maintain online classes through the month of June because I just feel, well, I know I did a consensus from everyone, and people just feel safer coming in a little bit later, waiting until we really see what's happening in our own community. So I feel great with that. Hi, Marie. Good morning. So we'll just keep on going here with our digital world and staying healthy and strong and learning new ways that we can do that. So today's topic is it's Mindful Monday. So I'm going to go back into meditation. And last week I just talked about the myths and magic of meditation, the benefits of meditating. And today I want to talk about the different ways of meditating. So in my teacher training manual, when I teach in-depth study, and that is going to be happening in June. So if you want to dive in deep to living your yoga, it's the best way to really acknowledge and to integrate yoga into your everyday life. It's pretty transformational. And okay. So it's so funny what I'm watching right now. It's just like, hopefully I'll be okay by the end of this call because it's just like doing this kind of what's it called? Static light. So let me know if you're seeing things okay on your end, because it's kind of crazy on my end. But that's what we're getting used to here on this whole agenda.
Into your everyday life.
Whoops, there we go. Now I can see you. Okay. Susan Johnson Morgan, and you're all here. Okay, great. So, different types of meditation. First of all, we do know that when our body and our mind are relaxed and calm and clear, we actually can have better relationships in the world. So, this idea of self-care is super important, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us, right? We got to take care of ourselves first, and then we're really effective in the world. And I'm reading a little bit from my excerpt from my manual, and so I'll be looking down here and there just to keep me on track. But I really wanted to talk about the idea behind meditation. And I'd love to know, okay, so here's my question for you, if you'd be willing. It's good on my end. Okay, thanks, Marie. I'd like you to fill in, if you would, on the box, whether you're watching this now or whether you're watching the recording, is what is your description of meditation? And something I was thinking about yesterday when I was thinking about this talk is of course, it's called Mindful Mondays now. And the word mindful and mindfulness, we're going to learn about what that kind of means in the world of meditation today. But we use that word mindfulness, and then we use the word meditation. And what I found is, this is my own opinion, but what I find is these days people like the word mindfulness because it's a little bit more easily digested. Like, I can do that. Where there's these ideas, as we talked about last week, in the myths of meditation. When people think meditation, they think that means your mind's supposed to stop thinking. And when we do mindfulness, it's simply being aware of your thoughts, but it's really all one thing. So another myth to debunked, I guess. So mindfulness meditation is a type. So today we're going to look at 5 types of meditation, and I'd like to know if you do a specific kind, or what does meditation mean to you? How does that work in your world, or what's your questions about that? And there's really this idea that the first thing we do is we start to create a relationship with our inner environment, with our inner world, because our attention often goes outside, right? We're very aware of our surroundings. Our senses are very keyed into our surroundings. That's what they're for, to see and taste and feel and hear and smell. So our senses take us out into the world. So what are the stages that take us into meditation? Because it's really about being brought in and we're taming our mental and physical activities and energy so that we can come in and become more sensitive to what's happening on the inside. And the other aspect is meditation gives us the opportunity to have insights about how we're navigating our own life. And that's super important right now. I think for those of us that have been practicing yoga, this is it. The situation like a planetary, a global pandemic is a perfect way to actually practice what we've been preparing for, and to not allow, quieting the mind, especially with the chakras. Yes. And so when we're faced with uncertainty, which we often are, but now it's kind of exaggerated. And when we're faced with a global fear, underlying fear, how can we maintain that ease and trust and faith within ourselves? And that's really what the yoga practice brings to us. When we're practicing day in and day out, consistency is the key to results, right? So the teachings of yoga teach us that we need to practice over a long period of time without break and in all earnestness. So the attitude towards the practice is because we want to practice, not because we have to practice. And so there's that desire that's being fulfilled. And so in this practice, then we're ready for when life throws us some unexpected events. And that's going to happen throughout our life. And so it allows us to respond more gracefully and more truthfully from our own heart. And so 5 types of meditation, I got to drop into this. And so there's so many different ways to meditate, right? There's so many different approaches to the practice. And I really like this idea. This was actually adapted from a book called Luminous Mind by Joel and Michelle Levy. And it's been around for a long time, been on my shelf a long time. So I drew from that. And I liked this because I feel like this really pulls in all different approaches to meditation, but gives a good overview of what you're actually doing on the inside. Okay. Yeah, Millie, you used to think it was trying to block out all your thoughts. But now you know that meditation is looking inward, intentional focusing. So it's really being in relationship with our thoughts, but not letting our thoughts control us. So we're observing. So we'll see that now. So 5 types of meditations. The first one being concentration meditation. And so I like to compare this to what we call the 8 limbs of yoga. And again, I think I should probably talk about that maybe in this Philosophy Friday. But there's 8 limbs of yoga. The first 2 limbs of yoga are all about how we live in the world. There really are ethical guidelines of how we treat ourselves and others in a day-to-day basis and how we develop ourselves as a human being. That's the foundation. We'll go into those another time. The third limb is asana, so taking care of our human frame. So if we want to move into a meditation practice, the first thing we want to do is get comfortable in our physical body. So one of the myths is you do not have to sit cross-legged on the floor to meditate. You could sit on the couch, you could lay down. There's a big difference energetically and mentally sitting down versus laying down. It's going to be a different experience. So I recommend having a seated practice because it does keep you more aware, more conscious. So your spine is upright. Plus also when you sit upright, there's this main channel through the center of our body called Sushumni Nadi. Marie, since you study the chakras, you know about this. But Sushumni Nadi I call it the Madison River of your energy body. Now, for those of us in Montana, especially in Bozeman, we know the Madison River, and many parts of the Madison are very large and slow moving. And a lot of us have floated that river in the middle of summer, and it's really fun because it's just really shallow. And anyway, so it's a slow moving river. And so I like to think of that main channel in our body. So when we hold it upright, when we're vertical, we're actually helping to open that channel. And then on either side of our spine are 2 more main channels called Ida and Pingala, which represent the masculine and feminine energies within us, right? So our focus and our softness and our action and our ease. So it's the opposition coming to balance. And then there's thousands of other energy channels in our body. Those are called nadis. But the idea of sitting up allows these channels to flow. And that's what we want to do, is bring a clarity to these channels. So then we become more vibrant and vital, and all of our inner organs and glands communicate with each other, and that energy can flow. So I call it pranification. So sitting upright. And so that's asana. I'm kind of getting all over the place here. So the first thing we need to do in order to meditate is to get comfortable in our physical body. So that's not distracting us, right? And then once you settle in, you make a commitment to stay still. Not to the point of any suffering. If something needs to move a little bit, if a foot starts going numb or there's a little ache, you can just go in and focus in on it. And now there's some meditation techniques that just say, stay with the pain and watch it. It is pretty interesting to observe discomfort in your body and not do something about it right away, because so many times your body actually takes care of itself. And that's a great lesson. Even like especially if you get a little itch and you want to scratch it, that's kind of a fun one to watch, because a lot of times that little itch just disappears all on its own and you don't have to do anything about it. So this idea of sitting comfortably and observing your own body's effectiveness in taking care of itself is a huge lesson. We come to trust our body, that its innate action is to move towards balance. That's, everything wants to work in that way. So that's your first stage. The second stage is pranayama, which is your breath. So once your body's comfortable, you want to just let your breath flow easily. You can do some breathing practice to warm up, of course, maybe get the energy flowing a little bit more, but then just let the breath be quiet and soft and easeful. You might want to try that right now since you're sitting here. Why don't you make sure you're comfortable in your body and just maybe close your eyes for a moment and notice. So notice how you feel in your body. Acknowledge whatever sensations are present. And then turn your attention to your breath. And just notice the sensation through the nostrils, the windpipe, the lungs, rib cage, the whole body. Excuse me. And just feel that physical, energetic, those layers of your being, your physical body, your energy body. And then you might as well stay there and notice that third layer, which is mind. And we're going to talk a lot about mind. So that third, or what it's actually called your next limb, is bringing your senses inward. So you're really focusing inside. Sorry, I got kind of lost there in my meditation. It's called pratyahara. So you start to bring your attention beneath the surface of your skin. What are you feeling here? What are you hearing? Okay, what are you seeing inside as you close your eyes? And then give yourself one more deep breath here. And let's just open our eyes if they are closed. So those are how we prepare for meditation. Body comfortable, breath flowing easily, and bringing our senses inward, just looking. Now, you don't always have to close your eyes either. You can just keep your gaze in one neutral location, but you're still looking within. And then we go into the mind. So the next stage is called concentration. That's actually one of the limbs. And so the sixth limb of yoga is concentration. So we go into one pointedness. Now, that is a technique. It's actually kind of the foundation of all kinds of meditation, right? To focus the mind. And this, I love this quote I'm going to read. Through the power of concentration, we build our capacity to overcome distraction and to sustain mental focus. And the power of the scattered mind is very limited, but like a stream of water that can be channeled to make it more forceful and produce hydroelectric power, we can make the mind a more powerful instrument by developing a small seed of one-pointed mindfulness into concentration power. It's kind of the difference between multitasking and focusing on one thing at a time. It's way more powerful to do one thing at a time, even though sometimes our ego thinks we're really being productive if we try and do a lot of things at once. So focusing the mind. How do we focus the mind? So this is where we bring in different types of meditation. So you can focus on a particular image. That's called yantra meditation. So you might have an open-eyed meditation where you could be focusing on an image. This is where the focusing on a candle burning. It's kind of fun. If you've never done that, put a candle, just watch the candle flame. It is very mesmerizing. Just think of how much we love sitting around a campfire and watching the flames. That is a meditation in itself oftentimes. So focusing on an image, yantra. Okay, you could have an imaginary image in your mind as well. It doesn't have to be something outside of yourself. So you're just bringing yourself back to that image. That really works for any of you that are really visual. And then there's also mantra meditation. So you can have a repetition of a word, okay, or a sound. And I see that Marie likes to do so hum. So that's just the words that mean, and they actually translate as I am that. So it's a recognition that we are a part of everything in that simple little sound. Breathing in so, breathing out hum. It could be an affirmation, breathing in peace, breathing out love. It's endless, but you just have certain words that you're focusing on. That's called mantra. Certain sound, and you just keep bringing yourself. The mind will wander and you bring it back to the sound. Okay, so it's concentration meditation. You're just pulling that mind in, and then what can happen is from that is that next stage, the seventh stage of the 8 limbs of yoga, is meditation. Meditation is diffused awareness. So you focus the mind in, letting go of extraneous thoughts. And at some point in that time of practice, you may just find that diffused awareness. It's really something we come back from, because as soon as we think, oh, I'm meditating, or that's a really nice meditation, then we're not actually there anymore, right? Because what's happening is we're dropping into deeper brain waves. So right now in my speaking and you're listening, we're in an active brain wave called beta. And this is where we're gathering information and we're in our thinking mind. Now, when you just take a moment, close your eyes and breathe deeply and evenly, that quickly we can drop into what's called alpha. So alpha is a more relaxed brain wave and we're more receptive. Okay, so we can kind of think of beta as being an outward energy, and then alpha, relaxed, still very awake and conscious, but more relaxed. Okay, and then as we drop down, as we keep that body relaxed, we keep that breath moving, and we bring that mind into the moment, so we're not thinking about the past or the future, we can drop into those deeper brain waves called theta. So theta is a deeper relaxation. It's a dream state. That's where you might have images or thoughts come through. And that's where the other types of yoga come in, because they're really fed through that. And if you go super deep, then that would be into delta. That's where you come back and you're like, wow, where was I? That was really good. And you feel really relaxed and rejuvenated, because our body's systems, when we're in those deeper brain waves, when we're relaxed, that's where the body can really heal itself. Okay, so we have concentration, meditation. You kind of have to start there, focusing the mind. And then we can go into a more diffused awareness. And this is what's mindfulness meditation. I studied with John Kabat-Zinn and his mindfulness-based stress reduction program. And he's really been key in getting that out to a lot of different health facilities, and the power of meditation. So mindfulness really is about just simply being aware. So you're not focusing in on one particular thing, but you're sitting and being present, allowing yourself to be aware of, oh, a sound, oh, a feeling, oh, a thought. There's an emotion, but you're just being aware of the present moment and all that it contains. So a little bit different than that key focus. And you can kind of go from one to the other, focus in and then let things go. You can see how these are complementary. The third type of meditation is, and this one's really nice, a reflective meditation. This is something you can utilize if you have a question in your mind, or a decision to make, or a topic of contemplation. I believe this is how the yogis figured, I don't believe it, but this is a story. This is how the yogis figured out so many of the systems that we are now utilizing for our own health and well-being, is they just simply sat with concepts and then they gained understanding. It's called Samyoga. So you just sit with a topic and you open yourselves up to receive information and understanding from that higher mind. It does help a lot too for decision making. So you might have some choice you need to make in your life. You're like, I think I'm going to meditate on that. And meditating on something is different than doing like the intellectual decision making, where it's more like pros and cons and gathering information and getting the data. No, the reflective meditation is more about taking that question. Maybe it's a question like, where do I go from here? What do I need to do? Or should I do this? Or what choice do I want to make? And you just sit with it. And it doesn't mean that in that first sit, maybe you sit once with that topic that's in question, and you may not get any answers, but this is where we need to be patient. Like even right now, there's so much uncertainty. Can we just sit with it? This is where the meditation is coming in our day-to-day life right now. Can we sit with it and be okay with not knowing, or make a decision? Like for me, I made a decision that I am not going to open my yoga studio until June, because there's too many unknowns. And in order to sit and be calm, I really sat with that. Plus, I did the intellectual. I've been asking people how they feel, and also just intuitively, just feels better to just pause and wait. And that comes more from a feeling state than what should I do in my mind. So contemplate or reflective meditation is a wonderful, I call it contemplative meditation as well, is gives us a way to really trust our inner guidance, our inner wise woman, wise man, our intuition, and come from more of a feeling state. The fourth type of meditation is creative meditation. Now, I also got to study years ago. I don't know if any of you have heard of her, Shakti Gawain. She really taught in the 80s creative visualization. I think that's when her book probably came out, Creative Visualization. So it was kind of new at that time. And I still have that book on my shelf. But creative visualization is wonderful in the way that it taps into our imagination. And I think as adults, sometimes we get away from our imagination. So it takes us on a little journey. It can help us develop different attitudes. We can develop patience and acceptance, or we can find joy, or we can just allow ourselves to move through these. This is where guided meditation comes in a lot, because it moves us through different storylines, and we can see how we respond in that little guided meditation. And it really invites us in to nurture. It's a little bit more guided because it will help us nurture certain characteristics within ourselves rather than just being present, like in mindful meditation or focused. This inner journey, this creative meditation kind of opens up maybe new doors, new perspectives, new qualities within us. So that's a fun one. And you can find those available in a lot of places that you can get guided meditation online. One of my favorite resources, I'll let you know, is called Insight Timer. And if you don't have that yet, it's something you definitely want to get. It's free. And it's an app that you put on your phone. And there's also a paid for version that has even more meditations and guided meditations. I do have a recommend that you don't only do guided meditations from an outside source, and you don't only do creative visualization meditation, because there's something super powerful to just being present and watching what is present in you, because sometimes that creative visualization might take us away from what we need to pay attention to. I hope that makes sense. So you want to do a variety of these things. And last but not least, the fifth one is heart-centered meditation. Now, that is a very effective means by which to nurture ourselves. This has to do with gratitude and loving kindness. And there are many, many benefits to our whole being, our mind, body, and soul. And I will link my recorded heart-centered, what's called meta meditation. It's in my YouTube channel under meditation and virtual yoga. And that's a wonderful one. And, it's really nice to do any of these things, not just once, but several times. So I'd say choose one and do that. Even start with 3 days. Okay. For 3 days, do that concentration meditation. Maybe you light a candle and watch that flame, or you have a particular yantra or mantra. And you do that and you notice, because doing something once doesn't give you very much of a result. And if it's not 3 days, you could even go for 3 weeks. Okay, so you try that out. Then you try mindfulness meditation, which is simply being present with whatever arises, just being very open. Okay, and noticing. That's when I feel like, we're kind of doing that in our day-to-day life. The more we practice formal meditation, then when we're moving through our day-to-day life, we can informally be in that state of meditation. Just keep those brain waves down into your alpha, maybe even your theta a little bit, and just let yourself, just allows us to be more responsive to life rather than reactionary. Creative meditation, what is the third one? So we have concentration meditation, mindfulness meditation, reflective meditation. This might be a really good time to do reflective. Like, how am I going to manage this next month as we progress into a new normal? And just ask yourself, because the knowing will arise. Okay. Maybe it's just what you're going to do in one day. And maybe it's something you can see in the future, but just really being reflective with that. And then that fourth is that creative meditation, guided meditation, so creativity. And then last but not least is heart-centered. So those are the 5 key meditations, different ways that you can practice bringing peace and calm to your mind and then into your body and then into your life. And the way you want to move into that, I thought I'd just end up with this one, is to really drop into how you set yourself up, because that's important. So you want to, one, be comfortable in your body. So make sure you get a nice space for that. Drop into your breath. Bring your senses inward. Set a timer. This is super important. It helps so much to just have a timer. And start small. Most of all, if you don't have a regular practice, start with 5 minutes. And then after that's easy. If you're like, oh, that wasn't long enough, then extend it. But if it does feel long enough, great. Because what's really important is your attitude. So you want to have the proper motivation in your meditation. You're not sitting there forcing yourself to sit there. You want this to be something that your heart's really enrolled in. And so that's why timers help. And start small. And do that until you just have this desire to go more. Just add a little bit. Maybe just add a few minutes. You don't have to add another 5. Add 2 or 3. So get that going, because again, consistency is the most important factor here. So you have to dedicate yourself. So dedicate yourself for 3 days. And after those 3 days, choose 3 weeks. And maybe after 3 weeks, choose 3 months. You'll see how that works. And then just noticing that carryover practice at the end of your meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes, notice the response that has occurred. Okay. And some days you'll be like, well, that was kind of a busy meditation. I didn't really settle down. And other days you'll be like, oh, that was delicious. It's going to have different feelings. So no expectation, and just know that you are doing something very, very helpful and health giving to yourself. Meditation is been found to help so many things: our physical body, our energy body, our psycho-emotional body, our spiritual body. It's right there, right? You just stop, you pay attention to your nose, your breath, and you drop in, and then your mind is present with who you truly are. So you drop into that state. And then you can start with that. So again, you start with that concentration. Pull the mind in. What's going to hold you in the present moment? And then allow that mind to start to diffuse, just really embracing what you're feeling. And if you want to go into other types of meditation, maybe you have a question to ask or creative visualization. You want to cultivate some particular attitude in yourself, a perspective in yourself. And you can even dedicate that meditation, maybe dedicate it to the world. The world needs a lot of love right now, right? We're in a planetary pandemic, and we're also in a planetary pause. And our mantra is, we're all in this together. So that's a wonderful contemplative mantra to consider. And then finally, just noticing the application as you practice, noticing throughout your day how it's affecting the way that you navigate your day-to-day life. And I think that's where the motivation really comes, when you notice how meditation's affecting you, not just in the practice itself, but in all the hours surrounding it. So there you go. There's your 5 types of meditation. This half an hour goes really quick. So try 1 or 2 and let me know how that goes. And let's make sure we commit. I'm going to go do my little meditation right now because I didn't get it in yet this morning. And so I'm going to go sit. I'm going to do 10 minutes because I like that. Sometimes 12. I don't know. I kind of like the not going every 5 minutes. So 12 minutes is a good amount of time to settle in and be there. And I hope you'll do that as well. And we're all in this together. So thanks for joining me today for Mindful Monday. I'll be here. I have asana classes Tuesday, Thursday, 9:00 on Zoom. You can find it on YogaMotion.com and get signed up for that. Wednesday, I'll be back here for Wellness Wednesday. I'm not sure what the subject is yet. I'm going to look that up today. And then Philosophy Friday. So I'll be tapping in, and I look forward to sharing more with you. Send in your questions and requests, and have a beautiful day. Namaste.